Sometimes I feel nobody's home. I bet you ain't expecting this tone. You ain't tripping, it's just all in your bones. Yeah, early dismissal for your songs. I don't want beef, rearrange your tone. I'm not too proper, I just stop before you home. Put your life on that shit, leave that shit alone. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Quarterback shine. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Quarterback shine. At night it feel like I've been out of my mind all day. And I gotta say it, feeling good to be right back up on the scene. My pistol beam so clear and call it God's eye. Come back with fits and jeans so mean I leave them hog tied. Pull up with shit with screams, that bitch was screaming all night. She left her cream up on the seat up on my motorbike. Yeah. Take a picture of the dream and make a satellite. Don't take a picture of the link cause we be killing mice. 2223 cause I've been feeling like I usually roll with M16s but I've been chilling right. Check my team, they full of fiends. I pray the Lord to grant your dreams if you ain't fucking with the team. Tip his bitch up if he fucking with the team. I swear that's what we mean. I swear that's what we scream. All you gotta do is share with us the cream. Share with us the cream. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Quarterback shine. Out of my mind, out of my mind. I need the big bag. Quarterback shine. Forget my nigga E. Out of my mind.
Peace, assalamu alaikum, hotep, shalom, namaste, jambo, ashe. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napashada. Thank you for tuning into the Rise channel. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you for tuning into all the HOK channels in the network. HOK Coliseum, Sonnetter Studios, Nepal the Orist. Yes, so this is not going to be long, but I do have to do this live stream because I need to get this out here in the algorithm coming from our end, meaning coming from my channel, coming from the HOK network channels, because there's so much complaining going on. And you know what? I understand a lot of the complaining that Black men are doing. It's valid, and I'm not just dismissing it. And a lot of Black women are taking heed. That's why you see so many Black women in mass, dozens and dozens of them, joining the conversations on these red pill channels, on these manosphere channels, because these Black women do want to listen. However, some of the women are not wanting to listen to men complain all the time and not be honest about themselves. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about both sides and let's show some information. It's time for Black men to stop being so sensitive when they want to have a conversation about how Black love is failing. They need to stop getting so sensitive and triggered Okay, sorry about that. We need to have the conversation in balance and with intelligence and to get real answers. So I want to first point some things out. All this rhetoric, this emotional rhetoric that's coming from a place of pain that black men are putting out here, spewing about how black men are the only prize, and oh, the black woman is the most hated and the black man is so telling, oh, go be a passport bro, get away from the black woman. That stems from slavery. And I do empathize with black men. Well, I don't empathize, I sympathize. But as a person who's a progeny of slavery, I empathize. So let's take a look at this really quickly. Let's just start off listening to Dr. Joy DeGree. And I mentioned this on one of the Manosphere panels. And of course, a black woman who was trying so hard to win coins tried to mock me when I said it's generational. But she didn't win anything besides um, a dunce hat because she wanted to make people laugh, but I'm trying to show facts. Okay, so I want to start off with this video that I'm going to critique. This is fair use. It is by Dr. Joy DeGree, and we're going to listen to her and talk about what is going on with black men. Why are black men? Why are black? Why is black love failing? Why are black men and women failing in any relationships they get into? Not just black, not just black love. Even in interracial relationships, they bring a dynamic of post-traumatic slave syndrome. They bring that into the relationship anywhere they go. And until you actually realize that and start working on it, you will continue to have failure. You will. You'll continue to have low self-esteem, doubt, paranoia, all kinds of psychopathy, and all kinds of uh, sociopathy. So let me see if I can find this video because I just want to start off right away with the video, and then I'm going to, because the video is interesting. People like to see videos. Where is it? I think it's right here. This thing. Sorry. So yeah, let's go ahead and listen to this. It's Dr. Joy DeGree, and I'm going to obviously, this is for learning purposes. It's fair use, and I'm going to critique the video and let you listen to an expert in this matter of what's going on with the black mind. We'll start with the black male. Number one, he's supposed to be the head, right? And number two, black males are the ones who are complaining the most about black women and relationships. So let's get to the bottom of all of this. It's not a tit for tat. I'm not doing the battle of the sexes, but what we're going to do is show black men some truth about them. And I know it's hard to be vulnerable. We're going to show them some truth about black people who are the progeny of slaves in general. But we're going to start with the black male who this rhetoric, this slander, this hatred toward yourselves. When you're spreading hatred toward black women, you actually are spreading self-hatred. You're self-destructive. When you leave relationships left and right, when you leave babies behind, when you self-destruct in relationships by recklessly being practicing infidelity, you essentially are doing that because of post-traumatic slave syndrome and how you've been wired, and you have not tried to focus on that to get it to actually, how do I say, correct it generationally. All right, so without further ado, hit the like button and let's take a look at this. This is Dr. Joy DeGree, fair use. I'm going to play this video and we're going to listen to what she has to say about comparing white males and black males. Let's listen.
Right, so you're looking at this whole notion. How do we square this up, and what happened when all of these masters, all these white men would go out to the barn with the woman and all that? What happened? Why did they have to square in court how much made a person black and how much made them white?
So she's talking about during slavery, when the master, when the slave owner, the slave trader, the human trafficker, when that person would grape the women, the African women, the black women, and then he would obviously impregnate them and give them offspring. The offspring, whether it was conceived in violence and whether or not it was from a white woman or a black woman, black slave, that offspring still had a right to, inheritance. The way it was worked out to block the inheritance from this African child, this half white, half black child, block the inheritance. And inheritance for men equals power. Stay with me. Black men have been, since the beginning, since right off the boat, they have been oppressed and they have been emasculated and told you're not a man. And a man in America, in all Western civilizations, man equals how much you have and how much you have power over and control. Stay with me. Black man, it's an intricate web that has been woven. The black man, okay, since the beginning has seen that the way capitalism and Western societies work is your worth as a man, your value is equated to what you own and what you control. Okay? So Dr. Joy Degree is explaining from the beginning about how even the social construct that was set up because the slave trader, the so-called master, was raping women, violating women, and giving them his seed. That seed, technically, by law, had a right to inheritance. So she's going to tell us how the oppressor, the owner, the master, how he set it up to where that inheritance would be blocked from black men. Why am I continuing to drive this home? Because this is the root of the problem with black men when it comes to how they struggle. This is the root of the problem with black men and their existence in Western culture. They are put in a culture, in a society where they cannot win. They struggle. Well, they can win. Of course, we have black millionaires, but I'm saying it is an extra burden placed upon them from birth. It's generationally inherited, and they have to break that generational curse. They have to try harder than the next person who may not be the progeny of slaves. So does this affect a relationship? Of course it does, because women are hypergamous and men know it. Men are polygynous, women are hypergamous. Okay, let's keep listening. Let me get back to it.
Why did that become an issue? Only one reason: inheritance. Who's going to have the right to inheritance? They can't have the right to inheritance. It's the object. Okay, it's always about that. So now I had to start taking a look at certain behaviors of African Americans, particularly, of course, my focus was African American males. Now we know that those who have the highest homicide rate is who? African American males have the highest homicide rate.
Yes, African American males have the highest homicide rate. So as we see all these panels in these forums of black men dragging black women, talking about how all the horrible things they are, they always say whores. But African American men are murderers. Can you not see that this goes all the way back to your wiring with slavery? Are we only whores and murderers? Of course not. So it is a disservice as Black men and Black leaders. It is a disservice to your people and to yourself. Self-destruction is part of Black post-traumatic slave syndrome, self-destruction. It's a disservice to sit and just bash Black women, saying they're whores, but Black men have the highest rate of being murderers. Is this a tit for tat? No. I'm showing you both sides. We're going to find out what the real issue is. I'm not taking the culpability of being just ratchet and twerking off of Black women, but let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. What is going on? We already established that Black men are struggling with ownership and financial power and positioning of financial power, financial freedom, and just power positions in society, right? That translates to financial power. So we know that. And then we are seeing Dr. Joy DeGruy. She's going to talk about how self-destruction looks with Black males. Okay? Does this translate into relationships? 110%. Because she's saying, who has the highest rate of murder? Who are now? Don't this again? They'll come and say, well, what about Black women with abortion? I'm showing you that. I'm trying to show you the root of the problem so we can correct this. We're going to get to the Black women who are reacting to Black male leadership. Yes, we're going to get to the problem with Black women who are reacting to Black male-led environments that are no longer Black male-led because the Black woman has taken over as the leader. Why? Because Black men are leaving their families. Why? Because going back to the vicious circle, they're struggling with not being able to have any type of financial or societal power. They have to fight and fight and fight. And the system is against Black males. Does that mean you can't win? No, it doesn't mean you can't win, but it's against Black males. If you say, oh, well, there's any Black billionaire, let him make the wrong step to the left or right. He will be right in the prison with the Pookies and Ray Rays. He'll be sitting right there. Okay? Everything will be taken right away from him. So let's listen to Dr. Joy DeGruy, who is surgical with this, and let's get back to what she said. Black males are the top murderers in the United States. Let's listen.
Okay. Who has the highest suicide rate? That's right. So European males have the highest suicide rate. Now, I think that's interesting. That's an interesting statistic. Now, let me explain to you what that means clinically.
Now, see, what we're looking at is cultural differences of how males are reacting to the boy crisis and to the male crisis. Males are in a crisis. Yes. All males, white, Black. That's why they're all banning, they're coming together in a kumbaya to attack women. But the women who are mostly attacked viciously are Black women. White men aren't saying to their white male counterparts, don't sleep with any more white women, just sleep with Black women, just sleep with Asian women. White men aren't saying that. See how unique it is with the Black man, with the self-destruction, how he does it in a different way. You see, she said, they're both depressed, but the white man just does outright unaliving himself. The Black man does it a different way because of culture. He destroys himself through homicide, and he destroys himself through leaving his entire family. He destroys himself through bashing his women on the internet relentlessly, talking about how everybody is better than Black women when he's Black as night. You're still Black. That's self-destruction, but it's a different type of unaliving. Do you see? It's not a battle of the sexes. It's actually an unaliving, a self-destruction. That's what you're witnessing when you see all these Black men on the internet bashing, hating, and going against and promoting the hatred toward Black women, saying it's okay to unalive Black women. They got what they want. They're so loud. She deserved to get a brick hit, the brick in her face. Oh, I don't believe her with the brick in her face. Oh, well, that's what Black women get. That is a way, that is used looking at the Black man with his own self-hatred and his own desire to self-destruct. Let's hear the expert, Dr. Joy DeGree, take it further.
If you come into me, now let's first of all tell me what depression looks like, because usually people that commit suicide are what? They depressed. They ain't happy about something. Matter of fact, they ain't happy about a lot. So they ain't happy. How does that look? How does depression look? You know, they have the little things on television commercials that let you know what it look like. They're sad. They're sad. They lost of appetite. Withdrawn.
Yeah, I'm going to hold this because I have to read this comment from Trice Copeland. Thank you, Trice. She said, a lot of them hate us, unfortunately. This is it appears to be a Black woman, a woman of, I'm going to just say, most likely progeny of slaves, meaning her slaves were, her ancestors were possibly slaves. I'm going out on a limb, okay? I don't want to assume, but I can see by her comment. This is a Black woman. She's saying they hate us, unfortunately. The majority of Black women love Black men, even while Black men are bashing us. The proof is in all of these panels in these manosphere channels full of Black women trying to prove how much they love Black men and how they're different than the other Black women that they're talking about. This is the proof. The dehumanization of Black women is no different than how groups are dehumanized before destroyed. These people that are going against Black women, which are Black men, the uniqueness, thank you, Trice, the uniqueness is they're bashing themselves. They want to disconnect themselves from the Black woman. It's impossible. It's impossible. No matter how many Black women you bash, no matter how many white or Asian or whatever other people you try to, women you impregnate, you will always be us. You will never get away from the Black woman. But again, it goes back to the self-destruction, the depression. I understand that there is depression. I understand that there is a male crisis. I understand that when I said that on the other channel, that the Black man is the trash can of the world, I meant that. Everybody wants to dump on you. You don't even get a break. You don't get to start out with a break. You start out broken, which you see what she's saying. Even back in slavery, when you had a right to the inheritance, when the Black mother was raped by the powerful slave owner, they even ripped that away from the inheritance for that Black child. And I don't want to get into that FBA stuff about it. That is when we're talking about social constructs. Don't be mistaken. That was a slave child. So that was a Black child. So even then, the inheritance is torn away. So we understand that. But as we go forward, you start to attack yourself. It is a part of post-traumatic slave syndrome. You self-destruct, and it is so intricate it's so, not even intricate, it's so veiled and obscure, because it's not outright unalivement like the European male of the culture who never had experienced post-traumatic slave syndrome. It is so veiled because in our culture, it wasn't, unaliving yourself was weak. In slavery, unaliving yourself, we did it. We got up in the morning, we got beaten, we worked from sun up to sundown. We watched ourselves being the most atrocious things happening to us, but we never unalived ourselves. However, anyone who is depressed and wants to get out of here, that's their goal, to self-destruct. And this, my friends, is the core of all of these panels and all of this black man versus black woman, all of it starts right here. And if you say, well, why are you talking about the black man? We're talking about leadership. We're talking about the target. Our men were targeted to break, as far as breaking them down. When the women were put in power positions, even, I'm not just talking about slavery, throughout time, it was to break down the male. Okay? They're surgical with this. Good day to everybody. Okay, so thank you for your comment. Let's keep listening to how the differences are with the depression in the non-black male, the European, the one who is not the progeny of slave ancestors. What is the difference in the self-destruction? With the black male, the self-destruction is not the same as jumping off the top of a building, taking the pew pew, the bang bang, and putting it to your temple. It's not like that. Not typically in the culture. It's more destroy everything that's important to me, including myself. Destroy my woman, leave my children. I don't care. And of course, destroy other men who look like me, and therefore destroy myself. Living a very dangerous lifestyle where you know you're going to get unalived. This is what's going on with black males. So let's keep listening.
People start giving stuff away, right? They do all that kind of stuff. They get teary. They sleep a lot. Well, okay, you got all the symptoms. That's a depressed person. They come into therapy. You got to work with them, right? You got to try to help them. That's interesting because we try to help that person because we want them to want to do what? To live. We want them to want to live. And there are all of these therapies around it. So now you got a person that's homicidal.
So you heard that. We want to help the person who expresses, hey, I want to unalive myself. Oh, let's take them in therapy. We can get them better. But let's look at how the self-destruction or the self-destructive behavior, aka the desire to unalive himself in the black male, doesn't manifest itself the same as crying, sleeping. It manifests itself differently in the progeny of slaves, of male slaves. Let's listen to how it presents itself, and then we can get a little bit closer to the idea of why black men are out here saying they hate black women, essentially bashing themselves. Let's listen.
He comes in therapy. Now, why would a person be homicidal? They look at him and they go, well, they're antisocial personality. People have behavior, they act out, they're compulsive behavior. They're eventually labeled a sociopath. Guess what? You can't cure a sociopath. They ain't curable. So what can you do with them? You lock them up. That's real simple. The prisons is a system that's working. It's a growing, booming business, and we got the folks we need to put in there.
And who are the folks who's filling up the prisons? Black males. See, this is why I just want to let you know, I titled it, Why Don't You Want to Hear? You're critiquing black women. Great. That's great. Let's keep the conversation going. I'd like to also inject balance and say, let's look at this issue. And when we start looking at this issue, guess what? They can't blame anymore. They have to take responsibility and be men. And I know you are. And they have to say, okay, I see what's going on. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and cry in panels for 11 hours about how black women they're not quiet, and how they don't listen, and how they don't want to do what we say, and we're not their whipping boys. I want to see why the hell I'm self-destructive as a black male, because the statistics are there, the information, the experts. This is a woman who has devoted her entire life to loving black males and black women. She gets it. This is a pioneer. And again, I said this ignorant woman on a panel made fun when I said it goes back to post-traumatic slave syndrome. Nobody wants to inject the truth into these conversations. We just want to keep on talking about how much Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are sleeping with so many guys. No. let's look at the base of this. So when a black man is depressed, and rightfully so, when the black man is affected by post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is generational, hundreds and hundreds centuries of trauma. It doesn't just end in slavery, as you know. It goes into all through Jim Crow, preschool to prison pipeline. So when a black man is shown this is the problem, I'm sorry, when he's depressed, he manifests his self-destruction, aka unaliving, in different ways. Bashing his woman is one of those ways. Let's keep listening.
The sociopath can't cure them. You can't fix them, so you just put them in an institution. And the moment they go into therapy, they get with the white therapist. They go, "He's a homicide. Okay, gotta go." Straight to the institution. Whereas other youth who have the other behaviors, they don't have to go to institutions. They first go to treatment facilities where everybody try to help them. But the black one with the same symptomology goes to a corrective institution. Got the statistics on it. Carl Bell looked at it and said, this is what they do to these children. Okay, now, I want you to look real closely at this, and I'm going to use your example. An example that I actually used it before I even been to Brooklyn. I never was in Brooklyn. But since
before she goes forward, I'd like to add some commentary to that. And then when these men go into these facilities, young, they're in there, and what happens? Please listen, okay? Because you always hear about she wants to be my boss, and what happens with these black men? There's a lot of them. They need mama because daddy isn't around, because it's a cycle. Daddy usually isn't around. I'm not talking about some black men. I'm talking about most in these situations. Mama's there. She's sending packages. He's calling home. She's letting people know, oh, here, talk to your brother on the phone. It's almost like he's settling into being the ones they make fun of, the Pookies and Ray Rays, which I don't even like using that term, but that's what's said. So remember, we're talking about self-destruction. So we even have black men mocking other black men who aren't in the same power position that they are. They call them Pookies and Ray Rays. They mock them and even put them down even more than white men are even doing it. They call them Pookies and Ray Rays. They mock them when they have nothing. Okay, so these boys go into the system, and now they put in this cycle, and the mom is there in the power position. Mama, I got your package. You could come stay with me. Then the Pookie. I'm not going to call him Pookie. The young black man who doesn't have and who ended up going into the system because he's self-destructive. He comes out with he's even worse because now he has a record. He has no money. He starts to rely on a black woman. Does that mean she's a saint all the time? Heck no. A lot of black women will use that to emasculate men. Oh, you ain't nothing. And the minute the man wants to be a man, or I want to go do this and that, you ain't going nowhere. You're not taking my car. So there's a cycle, but we're starting somewhere. What we are not going to do, not when I'm around, is continue to lie and say it's all the black woman's fault, because what I would be doing is saying black men are boys and children, and I'd be treating you just like you're treated when you get locked up. You're the head. You're supposed to lead. You are in a vicious cycle of ridiculous social constructs that anybody else who wasn't as great as the black man would not be able to escape. We've seen black men escape it and get knocked back down, but we know you can do it. I refuse to sit around and listen to black men cry on panels anymore about how the black woman is so bad and it's all their fault. No, I love men, and black men are going to speak truth, and they're going to take their power back. You're not going to take your power back by saying, go be a passport bro. That's ridiculous. You're going to take your power back by being able to say, yeah, this is what's going on. It doesn't make you weak or, it's a very, very evil system. They'll tell you, oh, come on, get over it. Slavery is so long ago. You don't listen to that, because those are white supremacist talking points. Okay? When you hear things like, oh, you're pulling the black card, oh, come on, slavery, I wasn't there, you can't blame me. Mark black men who are repeating those talking points that they heard from David Duke and all these other white supremacists. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is a real thing, just like we have to acknowledge that the Holocaust with the people in Europe, in Germany, happened. Nobody tells them to get over that. Stop allowing yourself to be played. Stop saying, oh, yeah, so it's slavery, and then making fun of it, black man. You'd rather blame yourself, which is the black woman. Let me say it again. You'd rather blame yourself, which is the black woman. You'd rather blame a black person who is also you than actually acknowledge that you are being programmed to attack your own self, which is the woman of your particular race, so to speak. Take your power back by understanding that you've been programmed to self-destruct through post-traumatic slave syndrome. The self-destruction manifests in many different ways. Okay?
Been in Brooklyn, it has a whole lot more meaning to me when I use this example. What do you call an African-American male, 22, 25, decides to go to a bar frequented by off-duty police officer, takes with him his gun, and starts a brawl? What do you call that? I call that suicide.
Yes, and again, YouTube, this is for teaching purposes. Yes, this is a touchy subject, unaliving self. But did you just hear that? Now tell me, this woman is, to me, one of the most amazing. I have all of her books. Okay. I try to watch anything I can of her. I haven't, unfortunately, been able to see her do a lecture in person. That's on my bucket list. This woman has dedicated her entire life to breaking through the lie that we are just like this because we're just wild. The slave trade that lasted centuries upon century upon centuries, centuries and centuries, isn't the only thing that we are programmed. We're traumatized by, don't forget, Jim Crow, the KKK terror, the church burnings. It's been going on. It's still going on. It's just looking a little different. Okay? Anybody ever heard of unaliving by police? Black men do that a lot. They're not the only ones that do it, but they do it a lot. Unaliving, but guess what? You don't have to even unalive by police as a black man. You could just go, around the other opposing gangs. You could just walk through a neighborhood and throw up some ridiculous hand signs. You don't even have to know what the gangs throw up, and you just have to do that, and you will definitely get what you ask for. This is the self-destruction that is encoded in black males and black women. But we're not talking about the women. Remember, we're talking about the leaders. We're starting with the males. The self-destruction is not something to be ashamed of, because look at the world. I'm saying you don't want to do it, but the feeling to want to do it with males, European or black, there's a lot of struggle. The male has a lot of responsibility traditionally that the woman does not have. But now the black woman is feeling a lot of that pressure. But I'm not getting into single black mothers right now. We're going to talk about the black male and validate the depression, the hopelessness, the madness that he endures daily. Okay? Even our sons who, have never even maybe sat in a forum listening to things about the history of slavery. Even our sons, you can see the effect on them. Even if they're good kids and they're in school, you can see what they face. They face so much. I mean, there's so much against Black people. Is it better now? Yes. But is it great? Heck no. So getting back to this, she said, what do you call a Black male who takes a boom boom with him into a bar when he knows that it's full of cops and he starts to brawl? You call him somebody who wants to unalive himself. Now listen to her break it down how it's different and how the just self-destruction is different with Black males than it is with other males.
That's what I call it, suicide. But it doesn't look like sad, teary, weepy, can't sleep, write the note and blow my brains out. It doesn't look like that. Because you see, we have something called invited suicide. I'm going to invite it. Because you see, I can't go out like a punk. I got to go out large. I'm going out large because I ain't going out like a punk. I ain't going to be in a back room somewhere whining and crying and pulling a trick. I'm not going to do that. It's not culturally acceptable.
It's not culturally acceptable. And that translates also into the relationships. She ain't going, brothers, red pill, we ain't going to be punks no more. Let's just leave her. Shit, you better not be, what, you found the woman of your dreams? Does she have kids? Oh, no, don't be a stepdad. That's self-destruction. I think she's great, but she has a baby. Find somebody else. How old is she? 40. Oh, nope. Go find somebody 20. I'm serious. It's self-destructive. Whenever you do something against yourself that would benefit you or make you happy and make your life better, and I don't want to hear about these women ain't making our lives better. Oh, we're going to get to the women in a minute. I'm going to show you a couple of well-known high-profile relationships that were Black males were in, and we're going to see how they ended up. I'm going to show you that because even these men with money, fame, good looks, they still have that post-traumatic slave syndrome literally encoded into their DNA. And then that's compiled by being in a system, a societal system that has so many social constructs set up against the success of Black men. Yeah. You hating your own, the Black woman for the way she's acting because of her issues, you hating her and promoting to all the hatred against her every single day is a social construct, and it's working very well. This system is whoever the psychologists that set down the evil minds, Project Paperclip, everybody that sat down and worked all this out even before Project Paperclip, they worked this out, and they worked it out very well to show how to take the most amazing people. You can call me racist if you like, but give this to me. To take the most amazing, how could it not be the most amazing people? Centuries of being just treated like garbage, but we still are the most desired, most amazing, spiritual, most intelligent, people who can really rise above out of the ashes. Who else can say they've done that? Yes, the small hats. Well, guess what? The small hats get to acknowledge their trauma. Why don't we? So see, we are peculiar people. So like I said, we're going to get to the bottom of the problem. I know I went on, but let's listen to how the Black male handles his self-destruction. It's not going in the back room and taking his life. It manifests in other ways.
But you know what? I'm depressed. It's called an active depression.
Yeah, go into that.
Okay, it's an active depression, which means it doesn't look like the depression that's in the DSM. So now when I come in, tell me how different you're going to treat me if you think my diagnosis is depression versus sociopath. It's depression versus antisocial. That's not what you're looking at. It's not a homicidal person. It's a suicidal person. Case in point, in my community, We have
Real quick before she gets in that story, did you hear what she said? How are you looked at? Now let's talk about the black male. He's not allowed to see. Black males aren't getting on the internet saying, you know what, I'm depressed, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This hurts. He's not allowed to shed tears. He's not allowed to get on the internet and tell his stories of his vulnerability, of his failures, of his struggles. He's not allowed to do that. What he's allowed to do is get on the internet, one second, and complain about his woman to the point where he wants everybody to hate her. Okay, sorry about that. It's the morning over in a lot of places. It's still not morning here, but anyway, he's not allowed to get on the internet and say, "Look, this bothers me." That's there. He's going to be called a simp, a punk. People are going to make fun of him. There's a brother, Judah Nass. He wiles out and gets upset. But then one day he got on the internet and he was crying, telling his story, his horrific story of his childhood. You know, people took that video and made fun of it and laughed. And yeah, we are not saying even if they don't like him, even that maybe he did say some stuff about them. But my point is, it was like a no-brainer that a black man getting on the internet doing that, he's going to get laughed at. But it looks better when a black man gets on the internet and says, "Look what this woman did to me." It's easier for him to get empathy and sympathy without being called a punk, an simp. Get it? So she's going to go into a story about some boys about self-destruction. She's focusing on like the homicidal side, but self-destruction manifests itself in black men and black women in many different ways. When we talk about the black woman, really quickly, I didn't want to make this about her because she gets a lot of the spotlight when it comes to really looking at the core of things. But when she sleeps around from man to man and just makes herself like has no self-respect, no value, just sleeping around and getting all these diseases, you say, how are these women just doing that? Don't they know that is a part? Peace to you, indigenous black man. Yes, she is. I love her. Let me summer jam this. Yes, this is I love Dr. Joy Degree. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. Yes, Joy Degree, Larry. So the way the black woman does it, it manifests in a different way. And, then, but I don't want to get into the black woman right now because this is the moment to focus on of what's going on with the black man. And the title says, why do black men hate when they are honestly critiqued by women, but they complain about women 24/7? Really, like, if I'm not getting on the internet bashing, I could easily get on here and say, well, you guys do the murders and you guys, how about we look at why black men are doing these things and why black women are doing these things without promoting hatred, self-hatred, which would be hatred toward people of your same race. Again, I'm going to say it. Korean men are part of the MGTOW, men going their own way. White men are part of MGTOW, men going their way. Native American men, Hispanic men, but the black man is the only one who 24/7 promotes hatred against the woman of his race and says she's the worst, she's the worst, she's the worst, she's the worst. And it's just been said for over a decade. Well, I'm going to say a little bit under a decade, to where you have the whole world white men are being able to talk about black women right with black men. I saw it. I saw it on Judah Naz's panel. A white boy got up there and black men felt no problem just sitting talking about black women with the white man right there. You think that white man would sit and let you talk about white women? Never. Never. So that goes back to the self-destruction. I'm not going to sit and go, oh, how could you? It's the self-destruction, the self-hate that has been encoded in the black man. Let's listen to this story.
It's called Important House of Emoji. I work with Emoji for a number of years. It's a residential program for kids who are gang involved, whatever, gang affiliated, want to be a gang, all of that, whatever it is. Because I always wonder how they can even say gang affiliated, gang associated. Your brother is in a gang. Does that mean you're gang associated, gang affiliated? What does that mean? That's my brother. They don't even know what. We got to put him in some kind of label. I said, well, he lives with him. What are you going to do? You think when people want to hurt him, he's going to ignore it because he doesn't want to be in the gang? He's going to help his brother. So, they don't know because they always got to put people in a box because you got to do what to them? Measure them. Right. So they didn't know where to put them. We call that family. I don't know. So now we have this active depression. So now we're misdiagnosing the whole thing. These two brothers that I know that run the House of Emoji, they're two identical twins. They've served time in prison. They're both in recovery. Both of their names is Johnny. They're not identical twins. Both of them named Johnny. Go figure. I don't know. Daddy must have liked the name. So what happened?
And you know that she said Daddy must have liked the name, bless her heart. That's what black women do. I know, and I also know a lady who named one of her daughters Tammy and the other daughter Tamara.
With them is they both run that Portland House of Emoji. So they decided just so you could just differentiate. One's called Biggie. They call one Biggie. Biggie and Scotchy. That's how you do it. So now Biggie is in front of one of the local black high schools. And there's a fight that breaks out. These two young brothers are out in front of the school. One is 19, one is 16. The one that's 19 has pulled a gun on the one that's 16.
You're welcome.
The crowd thins out. Johnny's there going, look, he is preaching. Look, brothers, we don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. We can't keep killing. He's going through the whole thing and I ain't even looking at him. Guy hits the gun, points it, pulls the trigger and it jams. The gun jams, which is, in my sense, the time to run from the heavens of saying, go run. We spared you, right? The kid stands there, throws his hands back.
Notice the kid did not run. The young black man, he's 16. He didn't run. This is a true story.
Yeah, right. Just stands there. So the guy hits the gun again, pulls the trigger, and it jams the second time. Guy starts laughing, kind of chuckling. The 16-year-old's chuckling. Hits it again. This actually goes on. Third time, it jams. He says, listen, brother, you think I'm afraid to die? 16 years old. I'm not afraid to die, brother. I'm afraid to live, is what he said to him. He hit it the fourth time and it went off. And what I understand about that is I have to get into the psyche of a 16-year-old boy and say, how could it be that at 16 he no longer wants to live? He can't see a place in the world for himself. And I'll tell you why. Because we're a man-object-oriented system, which says that you are what you are based on what you have.
What you say, brothers? I need to see. Let me check the chat. You heard that? You are what you are. When we're talking to men, you are what you are based on what you have. Now, that is capitalism in itself, but for men, it hits harder because women know being hypergamous and being able to be, appealing, we know a man is going to take care of us, essentially. I don't want to get into all this new, modern, new age, neo conversation about relationships. Traditionally, women know I'll have a man take care of me if I can be pleasing. Men typically are not afforded that. You are what you have. Let's keep listening.
You are measured by your things. That's why you have brothers walking around, don't have a home, don't have a car, but got 50 gold chains. because I got to wear some worth because I don't have any worth.
Right.
So when you begin to look at those things, you say, now you're telling me I got to measure myself by the thing, and then you tell me I can't have them.
Hold on. And then who compiles it? The dysfunctional and also self-destructive Black woman would compile that. Oh, you ain't worth anything. You don't got nothing. I got all this, I got all that, because she in the system has it easier, has more access to that power. So this is where the seed, if not already planted, it starts to sprout, where the hatred and the resentment that the Black man would aim toward the Black woman. Oh, she wants to lord over me. Oh, she wants to treat me. I gotta leave. She's trying to be in control of me. Let's keep listening.
You bar every way that I have to get the thing, and you tell me I'm nobody if I don't have it.
Did you hear what Dr. Joy DeGrace
That's
said?
what our society does to Black men.
Oh my gosh, I gotta pull that back. You bar, she's talking about the system, the entire system. She says, you bar, like you keep me from every way that I am supposed to be afforded to be able to get to these things. And then you tell me I'm worthless when I cannot get them. Let me go back. This is the root of the problem. I know Black men want to blame their own women, but this is the root of the problem. And then it's compiled by Black women saying, oh, you worthless. You ain't nothing. Oh, I got you out the jail. But this is the root of the problem.
And these young men don't see a way. They can't find a place to be somebody, to maintain a sense of dignity.
Hold on, let me get back here.
And don't see a way.
Hold on.
Some worth because I don't have any worth.
Right.
So when you begin to look at those things, you say, now you're telling me I got to measure myself by the thing, and then you tell me I can't have them. You bar every way that I have to get the thing, and you tell me I'm nobody if I don't have it.
God, I don't know about
That's what our society does to Black men.
That right there, I don't know about y'all. I get the goosebumps, and yes, I get choked up because I love Black men. Because my father's a Black man, my brothers, my son, my husband. But does that mean I don't love everybody? Of course, but we're talking about the peculiar situation with only, let me say it very clearly, only the slave progeny Black man, not the African that is that's coming from Africa and known his connection, not the how do you say it, the African people who come from the continent. I already said that. Like, not the, you know what I'm saying, anyone who's not the European, only the Black male who has been generationally basically encoded with this trauma. This is the only one who has to deal with this. This doesn't mean he's broken and he ain't, that's our culture that tells us, oh, you making excuses. Excuse me? No, this is the issue. Am I trying to see? This is what they would say in the red pill in the manosphere. Oh, this is a woman trying to take the blame off of herself. What? Last time I checked, I'm also the progeny of slavery, of slaves. I mean, I'm also a so-called. I am not so-called. I'm a descendant of the slaves. We both are in this together. Yet, what is going on is the system's working well, where the self-destructive hatred for the self, the Black male is like, I don't want her. She gonna listen. I'm not bowing down to her anymore. It's like, so there's truth sprinkled in, because remember I said, like, the Black woman will throw that in the Black man's face who's trying and he doesn't have anything. She'll throw it in his face like, you weak, you broke, you nigga, you ain't got nothing. I've made. So the cycle, you know what I mean? It's just a vicious cycle of hatred and dysfunction. However, we need to look closely. Black males need to talk to each other of how, instead of having women sit in these forums and try to pretend and sit up straight, and I'm talking about women who have baby daddies by different fathers. Some of the baby daddies aren't even there. They still will sit there and let black men tell them this is all your fault. You're a single mama because you should have kept your legs closed. No, this ain't working. We're not doing this. We're going to tell the truth. Where is the destruction coming from? We're in a system that works against you, and then even epigenetically, your biology, your DNA is working against you. It's wild. You can, when it's epigenetic, it's not saying that it's going to you can, how do you say, you can continue to reproduce and continue to deprogram to get rid of this epigenetic trauma. When I say get rid of, like diminish it, make it more and more effective in your psyche. You can do that. So it's not like it's hopeless when I say it's in our DNA. It's not like we just have to have this kind of, this thing that is actually coded into our, epigenetically coded. We don't have to do that. We don't have to be doomed, I'm saying. So I'm going on and on. Let me get this done because I have some other stuff to do. But I just want to say, this is so poignant. It's, I love this woman.
And these young men don't see a way. They can't find a place to be somebody, to maintain a sense of dignity and worth. So when I look at that, I realize that that's post-traumatic slave syndrome. So what I'm saying to you is that the injury of slavery was transgenerationally transmitted, right? Because we learn it. We learn it. It's knee-jerk. We figure it out. And every generation, we give it to them because we pass on everything to the children, right? And the children begin to live out those things. And it's unconscious. I realize that it's unconscious. But again, when I look at the brothers, I understand there's a very, very different thing going on. One of the symptoms of post-traumatic slave syndrome. Understanding now we're not talking about post-traumatic stress disorder because of the protracted nature of slavery. The fact that it went on for hundreds of years suggested that the end result ain't post-traumatic stress disorder. The end result is post-traumatic slave syndrome.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. I love her. I love that information. So, real quickly before I go, peace, Indigenous Black men. Yeah, you were saying that you have you've been looking at it for a long time. Program to believe we are less than and are only taking up space. Less than we are, yes. Trice says because we've always had to work collectively. She says, I think this gets very secular. In fact, that Black women value is reduced to sex and looks. That's part of the post-traumatic. That's another thing. Yeah, there are a society. It's so, yeah, that conversation we have to talk more about. Yes, definitely. Black men are promoting only high value men that only high value men are of value. You're talking about owning things like exactly, Trice. You're talking about that thing that she was saying about your value is translated in what you own and objects. The truth is Black women never really had a chance to be hypergamous. Oh gosh, let me drop a bomb for that. Even though I don't 100% agree, but that definitely is true. Now, when you say that, I'm going to say we haven't been hypergamous like we could say other people have. Yes, other races of women. That's really interesting that you said, because look at this. Hypergamy, the proof is hypergamy isn't always just things, because white women are choosing Black men, but don't they usually choose the Black man who has something? Interesting, right? I like that, because that's going to help me segue into this particular conversation that I want to talk about. Black men, because you hear the conversation about, oh, well, Black men, they're leaving Black women and they're going to the other women and get yourself another woman. Wait, I take that back. The conversation has been saying black women leave relationships. And when they leave the relationship, they go to a woman that is not black and things work out. Well, I want to say, no, did I? Okay, let me start over. The conversation in the manosphere is that black women are the ones leaving. When I say, why are these women single? They're trying to say black women leave. They use a false equivalency for with the oh well, look, 70% of divorces are initiated by women. But the divorces, we're going to look at divorce and women, and we're going to look at black men leaving, and we're going to look at some of these high profile relationships where black men have left non so-called black American women. Let's start with the one that is Jeezy. Y'all know who this is, right? Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. Okay. First off, he left, and he left her with a newborn baby. Am I lying? No, I'm not. Am I bashing black men? No, I'm not. What I'm doing is showing some truth and why black men need to look at both sides and stop trying to say it's only the woman. No, we're dealing with post-traumatic slave syndrome. We're dealing with social constructs. We're dealing with so many stresses that it's amazing that there's even black couples out here. Well, he got custody. Okay. Well, if he got custody, he also left, and he should. And let's see why are these black men saying that only the women leave? And why would he leave this queen, this Asian goddess that they always say run away from the black woman? Why did he leave her? They're divorcing due to different views and values. He didn't know this before he got married. He's a man. She's a woman, but remember, the black man is blaming the black woman. Jeezy and Jeannie Mai shocked fans earlier this month with news, this is old obviously, of them ending their marriage. And it's apparently because of a fundamental difference in their outlooks on life. Are you kidding me? Like, he just leaves his wife and his newborn baby? That's what's going on with all these women, you see all these women walking around with these black babies, whether they're black or not, like Jeannie Mai, and there's no father in sight. Am I saying all black men do this? No, but this is an issue that stems back to the self-destruction that is encoded in the black male not being able to say, okay, I got to stay. I have to stay. I know I have all these, the realities are there. Yes, he has a lot of stresses. Yes, he has extra stress. Yes, he's misunderstood, and he needs to get around black male therapists who can give him some guidance, or someone like Dr. Joy DeGree. Yes, those are all real, but leaving that's not the option that you should run to. So it says, according to court documents obtained, Jeezy filed a petition for divorce. Okay. He said the marriage was irretrievably broken and mentioned the new child, right? So y'all know the situation. He wanted to divorce her. Let's see. Did she want to divorce him? Well, let's check it out. Jeannie, being of Vietnamese descendancy and having no post-traumatic slave syndrome, epigenetic post-traumatic slave syndrome, or just being a woman who's like, I don't understand. Let's see what happened with them. Let me see. I have more information on her. Let me read this quick Google search with the AI. Okay, all right, so let's read this. Jeannie Mai is contesting her divorce. Now, this is before they got divorced. She was contesting her divorce from Jeezy, which is listed as a contested divorce. A preliminary hearing is scheduled. So she didn't want to divorce him. She even was posting on Instagram when he was separated. She was posting about how she's so proud of him and she loves him, and she was showing pictures of their baby. She said black men are only good for, obviously she married him though. So see how we can't make excuses for the black male who failed his family. We have to be realistic, because today, earlier on your panel, we had a very, very disgruntled, bitter, emotional black man saying black women are trash and that we should go, that you all should go to other women of other races. So now we're going to bash this woman of the other race. If black men were only good for sex, then why did she marry him and give him a child? You get what I'm saying? Black women linger unmarried more than other groups of women. I said that exact thing on a panel of Manosphere panel. I was on Fatty's channel, and they were like, I was like, black women will stay engaged for 10, 12 years. Like, yes. So we saw her. Let's look at another one. I want to show you something else. So we had that black man that left his family. Are there any more? Let's look. Because I'm showing this. This isn't to bash black men. This is to show that black men need to stop making these head cannons up and making these false claims that black women are so horrible and they just leave. And it's just because it was a black woman, you got to leave. So now let's look at, who do I want to go to next? How about we look at Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon? Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. Well, who left the marriage? Nick Cannon. Who has multiple baby mamas? Nick Cannon. And who left once he gave the woman children? Nick Cannon. Mariah Carey's ex, Nick Cannon, reveals what really led to their divorce. Nick Cannon is reflecting on his marriage. The fantasy singer, talking about her, met her former husband in 2005. They started dating and married in 2008. She was 39, he was 28. They welcomed the twins, Monroe in 2011. So in 3 years they had the baby. When the children were only 5, Nick basically wanted to leave. It's because they split in 2016. So let me get down here and read what Nick says. Nick says, I didn't actually really care what the world thought because the perception, that is what it is. People are going to love you one day and hate you the next day. He first explained, maintaining, I could care less about that. However, he did admit that he had a certain pressure that made him question, who am I? He's having an existential crisis. Why would he? He had everything he wanted. The most beautiful, one of the most desired women in the world, millions and millions of dollars. But still, he had this existential crisis that caused him to self-destruct. How? By leaving his marriage. Let's keep reading. I got married in my 20s. Here we go. You know what I mean? To the biggest star in the world. Okay, so he admits that she was amazing. He further explained that there was a contrast in his career trajectory and that of Mariah's at the time, who he said was already in a different stratosphere. So here we come, right here, see? The black male existential crisis of, I don't like to be in her shadows. Am I saying that this is invalid? No, this is valid. Because remember, he's blocked from getting things and he's thinking, well, I'm a man, but I'm like in the shadows of my wife. So it says, Nick explained that the comfort and the privilege that he experienced in the marriage led to a struggle in defining his own identity outside of it. See, he's like, so what am I? As he shared, I would lay up at night thinking like, is this who I am? Am I Mariah's man? Is that what my life is supposed to be? See, he's like, I want to be the leader. This is part of his post-traumatic slave syndrome and his epigenetic encoding. It is. How could you do this? Like, you're laying up at night, you have everything perfectly, but you're trying to start getting these you're not trying. You're getting these headcanons that I got to leave. Something ain't right. And you don't have to be married to Mariah Carey. You don't have to be married to high profile. A lot of this happens. All of these relationships that you see with the single mom walking around isn't this woman was so hard to get along with, you left. No, it goes back to what the black male has experienced in society and what his ancestors have experienced, which is encoded in his DNA. though he made, and I'm not saying it's solidified that you can't overcome it, but it needs to be faced. Though he maintained there's nothing wrong with it, he also added that once they had children, so he said he tried to be, come to his senses and say there's nothing wrong with this. But once they had children, he further struggled with the hierarchy of their marriage. She wasn't a dragon. She was doing everything, but he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle that she had more than him in society. This is pretty much common in many relationships, not just high profile. He said, I'm carrying a purse, the diaper bag, and I'm standing on the corner like, wait, she's rocking being the alpha. See, a lot of Black men think this. Am I banging on Black men saying, oh, but this is a reality where Black men say, I can't do this. She's running me. I ain't gonna be here letting her run me like this. I gotta go. He recalled, as host Ray Daniels shared, that Mariah deserves it. Nick maintained, I believe she needs a dude like that. I'm just not that dude. So this man married one of the most amazing, world-renowned, one of the most beautiful singers, one of the most successful women in the world, gave her 2 children, twins, and then he decided, I want to leave. So we already looked at Jeezy, Nick Cannon. Let's keep going, because what's not going to be done is Black men just continue to say, oh, it's Black women, it's Black women. Let's look at Halle Berry and Eric Benet. Judah likes him. People tell Judah that he looks like Eric Benet. What happened with their marriage? Halle Berry had a breakdown after Eric Benet admits affairs with multiple women. See, they say, oh, women divorce. Let's see why women divorce. Why do women leave? Because the man has already left. On paper, you see them leaving, but let's see what happens. She celebrated the biggest accomplishment of the year. She got the Monster Ball award. And then it says here, let's get down to this. Berry explained in an interview with Oprah Winfrey that she went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in less than 2 weeks after that. Let's look at this, y'all. Remember, she's got her Oscar. She's like on top of the world. She's got this Black man who's successful, but not as successful as she is. And he's in her shadows. What happens with the self-destruction? Let's look. So let me see this. Why is something hiding that? It says Benet. What is this right here, Lord? This wasn't here last time. Anyway, it says Benet cheating on Berry. Not only was the actor faced with the claim that her husband was husband's infidelity, later she found out that he had affairs with multiple women. Okay, so she goes, this is what she says. She explains to Oprah that she had a breakdown after she learned that Benet had cheated, even though she initially was determined to save their marriage. Even though she found out he cheated, she was determined to save their marriage. So let's see. Let's keep going. In her interview with Winfrey, Berry recounted how little over a week after her Oscar, so when she won the Oscar, here comes this mess about him sleeping with a bunch of women. An article that was published included claims that Benet had cheated. As a good wife, she didn't believe the story. She even was prepared to sue them. So all this stuff about, oh, well, he left because she was a dragon. But she was standing by him. She believed it. Berry said that she didn't even ask her husband of a year whether it was even true. But guess what? He came to her and said it was. See the self-destruction? See how he wants to hurt his wife to harm himself, essentially? He went to her and said, yeah, I did it. They were fine. They were married. They were in love. She won an Oscar. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, yeah, I cheated on you. Who does that? Self-destructive males. She said it was heartbreaking because I had a perfect marriage, she said. I mean, this is one of the kindest men I think I've ever known. So this Halle Berry, she wanted to move forward with her marriage. She didn't even leave him. Despite the cheating, she said, I was going to fix it. I thought I can do this. She said that she even questioned whether she had done something wrong in the marriage, such as work too much. That's a Black woman. Yeah, she's biracial. So these are the men, these men in the manosphere say, don't be with the Black woman. So if it was working out, they'd say, because she's not full Black. Well, this is a beautiful, one of the world's most beautiful, desired women. But this guy cheated on her and hurt her. For what? Why? Let's listen. Because self-destruction. Barry said that after Benet told her that magazine story was true, he seemed despondent. Later, when her husband came to London, where she was filming, he admitted that there were more affairs. So he just started telling her everything. It's like he wanted her to leave, but she still didn't. Barry learned that he had been cheating since the beginning of their relationship. The next 2 weeks of my life, he stayed there, and this vomiting happened. So she's saying he started just pouring out. When she said vomiting, she's talking about him telling her all this stuff. I found out that there was woman after woman after woman after woman, she told Winfrey. And then I realized he had a sickness. She still didn't want to leave him yet. She still tried to work it out. She said she accepted the challenge of working on their marriage after one affair. News of several more sent her down a dark path. I had an emotional breakdown. That window, my bay window, looked real good. She's saying she wanted to jump out the window. She said, and I thought I was going to go right through it. I had a little breakdown, so I took a couple days off work. So he decided to just keep on. And then what happened? Her mother said, well, let's see if he needs to go to sex therapy. So she said, okay. He goes into sex therapy and he comes out, and what does he say? Oh, I'm not a sex addict. I'm a person who, through a series of emotional events, troubles and challenges, he told the truth, series of events, troubles and challenges, I made some really, really stupid, painful mistakes. Benet also said that the cheating did not involve intercourse with other people, whatever, okay. So basically, we've already counted 3 Black men who had perfect women, but they still self-destructed by destroying those marriages. Let's see what the chat says. Nick Cannon left multiple women and children. Yes, a lot of them resent their successful women, even if she isn't using it to oppress them. Yes, and that goes back to the, what has already been encoded in the man. The self-hate, the low self-esteem. And it's not just the man that it's encoded in. It's encoded in the women, but it manifests the women in different ways. Like you said, about looks, being insecure about looks. You notice they always attack the Black woman's looks. Oh, you bald, you fat, you ugly, you dark. So, yeah. Halle isn't squeaky clean. We're not saying Halle's squeaky clean. Oh, I see. But in this case, Eric was okay, got it. So yeah, we're not saying I know Halle is, I agree. She's not squeaky clean, but we're going by what he said and what she said. So is that the only Black man? And these are great Black men. These are handsome, successful Black men, desired Black men. And they're getting with beautiful, successful Black women, but they're leaving. Oh, and I'm sorry, and the Asian woman. So let's look at this one now. We're not done. I thought we were done. No. We got a couple more. Let's do Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz. Let's see what happened here. I shared the wrong thing, but I do want to read this. Lenny Kravitz says his father influenced his divorce. Yeah. We've got Lenny Kravitz cheating on and leaving Lisa Bonet. Eric Benet leaving Halle Berry. Nick Cannon leaving Mariah Carey. Jeezy leaving Jeannie Mai. They're beautiful women. And children are always involved when they leave. They don't just leave. They leave when children are involved. Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet were married in 1987 and divorced in 1993 after separating in 1991. Their marriage produced a daughter, Zoe. Now, Lisa filed for divorce, but guess who basically said, I'm ready to go? It was Lenny. Let's see. Let me get that. Let me stop sharing this and get you the article where Lenny says, yeah, I was cheating on her basically, and it's because my dad left. But he doesn't know it's not just because his dad left. It also goes back to his history and, what's going on with him with post-traumatic slave syndrome. Yes, I am going to talk about it. Because if the small hats can talk about what happened to them, we're definitely going to talk about what happened to us. Where is that article? I want to read it to you with Lenny. And I like Lenny. I met him a couple times, hung out with him at 357 Magnum in New York. So Lenny isn't a bad person, but we're looking at what happened with him. So I think this is the article. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me read this. Please hit the like button. Let's read this together real quickly. So he said, my father loved my mother. My father just liked women. Ultimately, Kravitz's parents called it quits on their marriage, and before his dad made one final walk out of the door, he left his son with the powerful prophecy that the younger Kravitz would regretfully come to fulfill. What is the prophecy? My father was getting ready to leave and move out and said, you'll do it too. It messed me up, Kravitz said. Indeed, the older Kravitz's words eventually came true. In 1987, the younger Kravitz married 80s TV star Lisa Bonet, but the couple divorced in 1993 amid rumors of infidelity. Although his marriage with Lisa Bonet suffered the same fate as his parents, Kravitz explained that he and Bonet have remained friends. Yada, yada, yada. He left. He left. He left, yeah. He left. They left. They left. Black men, stop doing this, getting on the internet and not taking responsibility and telling the true story so we can get this, so we can fix these problems. Am I done? Nope. Guess who else left? Let me get it. Guess who else left, and left in a very cold way? Where is it? Oh man, I wanted to get in. I don't see it now. I want to show you so you won't be like, you made that up. Well, I'll tell you. Oh, here it is. Let me get it. It was Prince. Prince left.
He talks about life with.
Hold on. Prince left. He left Mai Tai, who was not fully black. She actually was African and Latina. But Prince, the amazing Prince, I love Prince. But Prince left her after they lost a baby together. And then the second time she got pregnant, she had a miscarriage. He left her and he didn't even talk to her again. Okay? Let me see if I can find that article. I just had it. I'm going to play this. Fair use. Let me see if I can play this. I think it might be this. Hold on. Dang. Okay, I gotta share this differently. Okay, so this is a little clip giving some background, and I could keep going. There's more, but I think you understand. I have some things to do. Okay, so let's listen to what happened. Listen to what happened here. Peace to my sister, the beautiful, amazing Lady G. Let me listen to what happened with Prince and they say Mighty. So she's beautiful, and she was young, 16 when he met her. They got married, I think, when she was like 22. Let's listen.
90. Prince saw 16-year-old dancer Maite Garcia standing outside his tour bus and referred to her as his future wife when pointing her out to bandmate Rosie Gaines. Garcia began working as one of his backup singers and dancers after graduating from high school. They were married on February 14, 1996.
So this is a black man, according to all these men in the manosphere, and to that angry, vicious black man that was on the panel saying black women are trash, go be with another woman who's feminine, and she will treat you right. Go find another woman from another race. Well, Prince, who was a black man, married this woman, and let's see what happened. And have you seen the dynamic of when children enter the picture, how they just have this existential crisis where they can't even, something happens when they just, first, I don't know, something happens. You cannot blame women always. Yes, are there some women that are doing horrible things? Of course. But in these situations, most of the time we got to look at it closer, and it's not that. Let's listen to what happened when she got pregnant.
When he was 37 and she was 22. According to Garcia, she and Prince had a son named Amir, born October 16, 1996, who tragically died a week after birth due to Pfeiffer syndrome, a rare genetic disorder. The distress of losing their child and Garcia's subsequent miscarriage took a significant toll on their marriage, leading to their divorce in 2000. Garcia's
Did you hear that? So once she lost the child, and he just changed, and it led to their divorce. Make no mistake, Prince wanted that divorce. Keep listening.
Stated, "I don't think he ever got over losing our son." Prince stopped speaking to his ex-wife when she miscarried.
He stopped speaking to her.
At Wayfair, we get
Well,
pretty
you got to
excited.
do the research on them. He stopped speaking to her when she got pregnant again, and then had a miscarriage. So, yeah. So you get what I'm saying in here. We need to look at things deeper. We can't just be up here. Black men can't be self-destructing, talking about how bad himself, which is the black woman. That's your woman. That it's just, she's a different gender. She has different chromosomes, but she's still a black woman. When a black man has a child, if it's a girl, that's his child. She's a black female that will grow up to a black woman. So it goes back to self-destructive behavior, which is a part of post-traumatic slave syndrome, because the black man is faced with so many obstacles from the beginning that you can, drag it back, listen to the beginning of this. However, what he needs to stop doing is lying on the internet, slandering his own women, self-destructing, going around promoting violence toward black women, right? Instead, you need to look at the bigger picture, look closer. I gave you a couple of examples of high-profile marriages, but this isn't something that's just, just happening in high-profile marriages. Some type of phenomenon, which is post-traumatic slave syndrome. So it's not really a phenomenon anymore. Something is happening where black men leave relationships, especially when children are in the equation. Let's talk about it. Are all black men doing this? No. And to the ones who don't do it, I salute you. I take my beekeeper helmet off, head covering, and I bow to the idea of the black man that stays as a father, and who does the hard work and who doesn't get appreciated. You don't get appreciated, like who can't sit down and say dad doesn't feel good, or you can't bear your emotions, say I don't feel good, I'm sad, or because you may get told by a black woman who's insensitive, who's also succumbing or being affected by post-traumatic slave syndrome, oh, you want to be weak, what you crying for? So I get it, but stop lying to the internet, to the other black men, that it is just black women that's the problem. You're doing a great disservice to your people, and you're self-destructing. And as we saw Dr. Joy DeGree say, you don't unalive yourself like the European does. You don't go in the back room, take a whole bottle of pills, take out the bam bam and put it to your temple. You don't do that. You self-destruct in other ways. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Peace and love to the sisters, Trice, of course, Lady G, Indigenous, everybody who has joined in, JDA Villain Productions. It's a lot of people in here. Judah Naz dropped in. Michael, I'm going through it. Judah Naz said, she said black men. Judah. Okay. Let me see what else we got here. 6 Madara, no, I'm sorry, S2K Madara, Yo Folks, or Yo Folks 3. Thank you, everybody who's here. If I didn't name you, I appreciate you coming in and listening. Peace to the Darkest Minds of the Light. Peace to the HOK family. Peace to Judah Naz and his Torah Knights and Indigenous Black man. I see you. Peace and love. Let's continue this information in the right way, right? All right, everybody, have a beautiful day. Share the video and don't forget to like. All right, thanks for listening.